All righty. Right. We are live. How's everybody doing on this Friday? We will just take a moment here before we jump in. See if anybody else jumps in with us. I think I make a pretty good cup of Java. This is my bullet coffee. I'm not drinking. Used to drink a pot or two of coffee every morning. I'm just having a bullet coffee and my energy drink. That's what I'm doing. Hey, how many of you listened to the podcast I put out yesterday with the rebranding, the new logo, all those things? I've got some good feedback from, I received about 20 emails, I think it was, roughly, to a lot of the people. About 40% of the people have opened the emails and or have opened up the email that I sent out on the podcast yesterday. And I received, good morning, Cheryl. How are we doing on this Friday morning? Is it raining? Is it raining in Indiana? It's raining here. I think you're sending it this way. So, at least it's not snow. But I think we're going to pay for that come probably late February, March, and even April. I'll probably get stranded. My wife and my son, we're going down to the NDPA conference and in April. So we'll probably get snowed in. Flight will get canceled. Who knows? I'm going to think positive, though. So, and it's going to be great sunny weather. And yes, nasty. Nasty's a good word. The ground is still kind of frozen. It's not, down just maybe a half inch or so, but the very, very top of it is not frozen, and it's like mush. So took the dogs out this morning, and of course they came in the house and tracked mud all over the place. But anyways, I wanted to talk about adult supervision and because I believe that I've seen a lot of posts about and some comments and a lot of things, and I think it's an ongoing theme because supervision is a must. I mean, whether or not it's our supervision, a lifeguard supervision, a caregiver supervision, when there's children in the pool, there should always, or children around the pool, should always be supervision. Good morning, Crystal. Hey, glad to see you here. And Jennifer. So I think people are piling in here. So that's awesome on this Friday. Hey, just so what I want to talk to you about is the adult supervision. And if you've got any, because part of this is on our K Corner, the checklist, the water safety checklist that I'm putting together, as I have right here. It's like 6 pages long, and there's 177 or 178 items on that checklist. And there'll be more because we're adding a few more things that have come to light that I feel that is important to have in there. When you see stories or people sharing information about something that I think is important, because I think it's all about the education that we give parents. So anything you might have on something adult supervision, I'll go over with you and let you know what I've got here. The lettering's like really small. See if my bifocals work. But anyways, I have the top line here under adult supervision and caregivers. So I just put it in bold print. I said, important to consider when we talk with families that have had a child drown, that they always believe that someone else was watching their child when really no one was watching their child. We hear that a lot when people are in groups of people. they go to a barbecue, they go to a public pool, they go to someplace, and that is something that, in my case, my daughter was with a caregiver. We assumed the caregiver was watching her, and that was our mistake. And it was she wasn't watching her. She was at times, and then she wasn't always watching her. So from that standpoint, it's got. I don't know who said. I think it was one of you that might be here right now that made the comment. Somebody did. I don't know who, and I'd like to give you credit because I really, really like that, because it's somebody said it's a momentary lapse in supervision. It's not a total breakdown in supervision. Maybe in some cases it could be. I mean, if a parent falls asleep, goes into a shower, leaves, walks away from a child in a bathtub and goes in the other room to start dinner, those are just poor judgments and just total breakdown, I think, of the supervision. But for the most part, I think it's a momentary lapse of supervision. And I think that is a great way to explain it, because how many parents can agree with that? How many parents can agree and understand that they have had a momentary lapse in supervision? They've caught their child before their child climbed out of a high chair. They caught their child before they, right before they did something, and they caught their child, because that momentary lapse of supervision, where maybe they were sitting in their chair and they pull up their cell phone and they're checking their Facebook feed just for a second, and then they look over and little Johnny's, climbing the lattice work on the rose garden or whatever, and yeah. Actually, Cheryl, I thought you said it, but like I said, I would love to know who actually made the comment, because I really think when we talk with parents, when we have that conversation, if you remember, I believe everything happens in the conversation, and that's where we've got to go with the conversation. And if we explain it in that terms, it's just a momentary lapse of supervision, and that's all it takes. And I think people can relate to that. And if you can relate that to a common story, maybe that's not necessarily around drowning, but it's a common story that you experience maybe with your children, or have experienced, or somebody shared with you. It's just like my story with the vacuum cleaner that I talk about with before my first daughter was bought. I kind of bought her through a Kirby vacuum salesman. No, before she was born, and she turned around, and I spent $1,700 at 35% interest to buy a Kirby vacuum cleaner to keep her off dirt. And I don't know, she was always on dirt. I don't think it really. I'm sure it cleaned. It did a good job, but it took a lot of my money too. But if we can find something like that would really resonate with people, that would really, resonate with, whatever it is that we're talking about, and parents could come into and they can see it. Now they can be able to translate that over into a swimming pool. So, I think the lapse of supervision is a good comment. And, yeah, I don't know if it was one of my posts. I've looked, but I've got so much stuff out there in comments. But if somebody finds it, that's great. I'd love to be able to give the person credit that might have said it, because I've been bringing it up a lot. I actually brought it up in my podcast I put out yesterday and everything. But anyways, let me go into some of these items here. Have a discussion with anyone that would be watching your children. I think that's a big one, because we never had that discussion with our babysitter. I hear stories all the time where people go around with, they're with people. So, make sure that people understand, and that there's a water watcher. I mean, that's really important, that there's a water watcher, and the person who's, understand how that works. If they have a water watcher tag, great. If they don't, you can go to poolsafely.gov. Okay, poolsafely.gov, and you can order 250, 500 water watcher tags free. They'll ship them to you, no cost. And you can use those and hand out. They're not the prettiest things. I mean, there's other people that you can get water watcher tags too, but you have to pay for them. But I think for the most part, but go to poolsafely.gov. I'm sure I have some around here, but there's all kinds of other things. We walked around during the 4th of July fireworks and handed these things out. We handed out beach balls. We handed out, they have little Pool Safely beach balls. We handed out stickers. There's a little card for, they have an interactive game that you can download on an app. It's for the Splish and Splash, and it has a little card. There's little rub-off tattoos. There's pamphlets, brochures, all kinds of things. And then it's in Spanish and English. And yeah, Cheryl, you need to do that because poolsafely.gov. You can order all that stuff, and that way you'll have it on hand, and you can have it. Comes with the lanyard. I mean, if you wanted to buy these things, I would probably venture to say they would probably cost you a couple dollars a piece, $1.50 maybe, and to have them, to order them. So I think that would, yeah. So what did you say here, Crystal? Oh yeah, awesome idea. Yeah. So yeah, for example, Crystal ordered some of these poolsafely.gov water watcher tags, and she had her, which is Braden's Heroes, if I said that right, and she put her logo on a little sticker and put that on there. So I think that's just really, really awesome. So anyways, let's see here. Yeah, beach balls too. Those are kind of neat. We have some around here. Our grandkids play with them too. But yeah, we took those out to the 4th of July and just threw them. Threw them. We had a wagon. We also had 50-50 tickets. We were selling, we would use the beach balls and use these things to get people's attention. And then we would have a 50-50 raffle. And then after the fireworks, we would announce the winner. And almost every time when we do these things, people donate the money back to us. And we are not a nonprofit. Okay, so you can do this. You don't have to be a nonprofit to do it. If somebody asks, just be honest. Tell them. Say, no, we're not a nonprofit. But this money goes back into water safety. Either way, I don't, people want to support those things. So, anyways, again, those could be great resources and great areas for things on supervision. Let's keep going here. Also, no children or older siblings would ever be put in charge of supervising any others in and around water. I think that's a key point. Make sure that people and children don't supervise, that they must be an adult. Also, important that the adult be CPR trained. I don't know if you could require that as a family member if you're with a bunch of family, but I think it would be important to have. That goes back to that one topic, have a water safety conversation. If you're on vacation with family, if you're someplace with family, if you're at a pool party, a barbecue, you poll the people before the kids get in the water, before everybody goes in the water. You just say, hey, I need to have a conversation with everybody here. This is extremely important. And and say this is what in order for us to be here or for our child to be there, and if not, then I would recommend you don't go. People either do what you want to make sure everybody's safe, or you don't be part of it. At all times, we already just talked about this. The water watcher. Oh, my wife brought me one. Yeah, so here it is. Because I know we have a whole bunch. Yeah, the water watcher tag. So the Pool Safely water watcher tag, and it even has instructions on the back. So there you go. The instructions on the back, drowning is preventable. Has a nice little lanyard, and the lanyard is printed with poolsafely.gov. Like I said, I used to be in the ad specialty business, and I used to sell these. So this card probably printed with the lanyard like that. This quality of lanyard probably would cost to buy these about $1.50. And then she's got. This is the little card here that you can get. This is the card you can get on the apps. You can have the apps. Let's see. There it is there. What's that? It's a game for the kids. Yeah. This is a game for the kids, so you can get those. And then she's got, this is the little rub-off tattoo. There he is there. I don't know. Oop, there. So little rub off tattoo, and she's just handing me all kinds of stuff here. This one here's in English, but that's the poolsafely.gov. There's pool steps and pool and spa act, and so this stuff's all free. You can get all this stuff and put on your table when you're talking with people. So again, this could go to help educate people about supervision, caregivers, things like that. These are great tools and aids that you can use. Okay. Before my coffee break is over here and we run out of time, let's keep going here. But anyways, again, those siblings, make sure they're adults, make sure they're all, all that good stuff. The other thing is, like I said, make sure they're CPR trained and first aid trained. I think it's important. And especially if you're not. I mean, somebody there should be, put it that way. So at least one person at a pool party, and then I would think they would or a barbecue, and I think it would be important to understand it's like designated driver. If the designated water watcher could be CPR trained, then that person doesn't drink or anything like that. You want them to be prepared if it was to happen. I know that's a lot to ask for, maybe, but let's see. And then you have gone over this complete checklist with everybody, and that would be supervising anyone in and around water. I think, because on this checklist, there's lots of other items, especially with swimming safety, things like that. This is just items that we feel that would be great to check off for supervision. If anyone will not follow, your safety plan or comply with your wishes, then they will not supervise anyone. You don't expect them to supervise anyone. And if that's the case, then you might be the one that will have to do all the supervising. But at least that way you understand. Obviously use common sense and make sure to follow up with them, those people that you're expecting, because people, we understand how important it is. Our friends and family, if they have not, number one, if they don't work on water safety and they've not suffered a loss or a non-fatal drowning or ever been around it at all, they might think it's important. But again, you have to understand, and I think you have to believe that they still operate under the function of it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at this pool party. It's not going to happen because, if I have a momentary lapse in supervision, there's other people here. No, you have to go back to that first item on the checklist and understand that when something happens, people think somebody's watching, and in the end, nobody is. Because if somebody was watching, then the accident probably shouldn't have happened, or somebody would have got to them first if somebody was paying attention and watching. So that's the way I like to look at it. And then the other thing, I have to use the magnifying glass, because this printing, I printed this first one out, and it's so small. Lastly, it's really a check mark here. I've committed. I have communicated with what I expect when it comes to safety and around water at all times. So in other words, they're checking this off that they have communicated all this with everyone. And these are some of the things here. If anybody has any suggestions of anything that would be with any suggestions that they think maybe should be a good item to put on here. I probably have some things that are in other areas under swimming safety, backyard safety, in-home safety. Some things are kind of redundant. They repeat themselves. Like the CPR is in several different sections of the checklist. The biggest thing is I want to hit on these checklists. I want to hit it home. If somebody's interested in backyard pool safety and vacation water safety, I want to hit all these other items so when they look at it, it will refer back to the other item. Then that way, open water safety, boat safety, and life jacket safety, it's, again, a lot of it is interchangeable. It goes together, but it also can be applied so we can reinforce the message that we're talking about. That's my idea with this. This is going to be a big part of our push with our podcast. This will be a big part of our push with our new branding and what we're doing in reaching out to the general public. I believe that this right here will be a great segue into a conversation. Once we get this completed, I'll share this out with everybody. And you can either use it or you can make your own, whatever you want to do. I will send it out in a PDF form. You can just share the PDF. You can put it up as part of your program and collect email addresses and collect names of people you want to talk to. So, or you can just take it, copy it. I don't care. I mean, the point is, it's about saving people's lives, and I don't really care who gets the credit. But we can use this as a tool and a resource to grow our audience, to grow your audience, and things like that. That also could work in conjunction. Yesterday, just because we got several people here watching, yesterday, real quick before we wrap up, is we talked about what was it? Doing some type of a PDF document, like a book, an ebook, something like that. Collaborating, having some stories, and putting some experts in there. So that is something that that has been on my drawing board for quite some time. And this could be a free document again to hand out. And we will also set this up and put this in a printed version, and we can order this on a print on demand through Amazon. And then that way, if you wanted to give one of these away at your table, you can give this away. Again, calling attention to the checklist, calling attention to stories. Many of us here, well, every one of us has some type of story around water safety in one way or the other. And so we can share that in written form also. And I want to give credit to everybody here. Everybody can write their own section, or we can do it in an interview form. So that's something that, if everybody, I think I've got 2 or 3 people that told me they'd really like to be part of that. So if that is, probably here in February, I'll be reaching out to everybody, and we'll get like a group call or something on a phone call, and we'll start talking about that and maybe laying out the plans. And then if there's anybody that that you think would be a great asset to add into that book, I would like to, if we had somewhere between 7 to 10 people, I mean, we would have 7 to 10 chapters right there. And so we could easily wind up with a book that's going to be between 70 to 100 pages thick. So, or maybe even, bigger than that, depending on the size of the book that we decide to put together. But it would be able to be delivered digitally. In an ebook, you can just give it away, whatever you want to do. The other book, the actual physical book, you could, if you wanted to use it as a fundraiser, you could use it as a fundraiser, as whatever. If the book costs you $1.50, you can ask $3 for it or whatever. I don't right now, just not sure what it would cost. So not hard to do. All that can be done as a print on demand, as a self-published deal. So we can talk about that. Hey guys, it's Friday. Have a great day. Share your comments here. Anything else? Let's see here. Let me look through here. Also, lifeguards don't always yeah, Cheryl, you and I share a very similar story where both our children were at a public pool where we were not at, and there was lifeguards and other adults and people like that. That's important. And I talk with lifeguards all the time. And just like a week or so ago when I shared that incident report or the investigation of the boy that was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, that drowned in a wave pool. Another example of the parents weren't there, and they were trusting other people to watch their child. And sometimes these are trained people that should know better. But the point of this is that they're human, and that I think that goes right back to what we were saying earlier. It's a lapse in supervision. Even the professionals, people that are trained to watch our children or watch the people in the water, have a lapse in supervision and make poor judgment, make poor calls. Because again, people operate under the belief that it's not going to happen. It hasn't, they've been a lifeguard in a chair for years and it's never happened. And, and so I think that would be really, a a great part to put in this and to offer those out to those type of people. So to be able to put those type of stories in there. So yeah, sure. I'm excited. I've actually talked to some ghostwriters, some publishers, people like that about my idea on a book with a story like this. But I would be something I would be putting together by myself, and I don't have the time to do it by myself. So, and I don't, and if we do something like this on a small scale, then if it is a success, then yeah, let's, as a group, let's work on something on a much larger scale. We might, who knows, as a group of people, as a collective group of co-authors of a book like this, we might be able to find a publisher or publishing house that would want to take that on to get that out to more people, which I think is what water safety needs, because there's a lot of books out there, but none that are widely distributed through any major publishing house. And I think if we think of a way and a title and all those things that would really, hit that home, just like Chicken Soup of the Soul, it's a bunch of stories, and they made them for everything. And so it's a chicken soup of the soul for this, and chicken soup, I don't know, water for the soul. No, I don't want to do that. But anyways, something that would be really resonate with people, I think would be really awesome. So, hey guys, been on here long enough, 25 minutes. We all got to get back to work. The boss is going to fire me because I've been on this coffee break for too long. So I'm going to finish this up, go get my energy drink. I got a call here in about 5 minutes. So you guys are all awesome. Keep up the great work. Have a great weekend. Reach out to me if you need anything, any questions, any concerns, whatnot. And we'll just talk to y'all later. Okay? See you. Bye. Bye-bye.